Let me give my third tip, and then we're going to check the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up so you guys can have an amazing, amazing night and head into Friday with a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge, a lot of game, all that good stuff, right? So, last tip of the night. So, tonight I shared my 3 tips on how to excel, how to add so much value as a QA engineer. The first tip was join the conversation, contribute to the conversation, participate in planning, in refinement, in stand up, all of those. Everywhere, participate, retrospective, sprint reviews, ask to present, all that stuff. That's my first tip. Second tip was start testing as early as possible. Start working on the test plan, start collaborate with the developers, all that stuff, right? My third tip on how to excel in QA as a QA engineer, at whatever level that you're at, always look for opportunities for automation. Always look for automation opportunities in everything that you do. Shout out to Yakar and his amazing Zapier presentation. We will automate your lives, right? So always look for automation. So number one, when doing QA, my goal is to do manual testing as least as possible, because manual testing it's good. I hate to play this again, but you're gonna end up saying,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Because it is unmanageable. You can't manage it. You can do it for that feature at that time, but if you have to manually test the same thing over and over and over again, you are going to say,
I hate it here. I want to go home.
don't come to me talking about, I just want a manual test forever. I'm like, well, eventually you're just going to be unemployed forever, right? They might sell you a dream like, hey, you can get a manual testing job for making $95,000 a year. And I'm like, where they do that at? Where they do that at? All right. So look for automation opportunities. Definitely look for automation opportunities where you are saying, okay, how can we automate this scenario? Looking for what's going to automate the business logic which is going to be at least flaky as possible. So looking to do API automation. Encourage the unit test that the developers are writing. Make it a requirement to write unit tests. Then look into, like, after you get the API test automated, you have all the business logic working. Look to automate the whatever is necessary for the front end. You need to have some end tests here and there, but they shouldn't be the majority, right? But so that's the basic QA engineering stuff. But wait, there is more. You have to start looking how to automate other things. More than just QA. How can you automate your workflows? How can you make your life easier, which frees you up to do more things? Are there any tricks that can help the software engineers? Because a lot of times the software engineers, they are excellent programmers and engineers and stuff like that. But the little tricks that I at least use to make my life easier, I'm like, hey, have you guys ever seen this? They're like, what in the world is that? This is so cool. I'll tell you a story real quick, right? Not a long story, and not as an embarrassing story as the video game story, right? When I lost Street Fighter up 9-0 and they came back and defeated me 10-9. Not that story, right? This story is very recent. So we're working on a project where we had to delete a bunch of, like, millions of files, probably even billions of files from S3, right? And I was like, what? And part of that, right? So we would delete create these batch job operations where it would delete a bunch of files. And I was like, so one of the software engineers, they showed me how they normally did it, and I was like, there is no, whose song was that in WWE? No chance in hell that's what you've got No chance in hell. When he showed me the process, I'm like, this ain't happening. This ain't that. This ain't that. So I said, you know what? Let me get familiar with. I said, I wonder if I can use the AWS CLI in order to speed up creating these batch jobs. So I started researching and everything like that. And I went down the process using the CLI, and I did a script in like not even a script. It was more of a command line that I wrote, and I just plug in the values, and then it created a bunch of batch jobs. Right? They created like, I think we had like 5 jobs to create. I was like, cool, and I showed her like, oh wow, this is really cool. This could work. And I said, you know what? That is not enough. That is not enough for me. I was unsatisfied. What's the future song? Never Satisfied. I was not satisfied with that. So I said, I wonder if I could use the Python Boto, I think it's called Boto 3 library, to connect to the AWS via Python and go through the whole operation to write the script so it can automate creating a bunch of batch jobs. You just pass in the S3 bucket that you're going to be using, and it would go and pretty much do the whole thing for you. You just say, all right, I pass this stuff. It compiles all the different things that it needs, the files and everything, and then it just goes boom, 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 boom. So a process that would take us hours, maybe even days. I wrote the script in about a day and a half. Tried it out, tested it and everything. And when we'd run it, it would create like, so let's say it was about 5 minutes per creating a job manually, right? And then it ended up creating like 60 jobs out of maybe like 13 buckets. So it saved us so much time. It created in like 30 seconds. And it's reusable, right? So fast forward to last week. One of the engineers on the other team sent me a message that says, hey, just got to give you a hat tip because that script that you wrote saved me so much time. And you would think, right? Like engineers, like they'll do this. But a lot of times the engineers are so focused on building features for the application that we have that they're not really thinking about like all those little tools and stuff like that. And I'm like, when I saw it, I'm like, there is no way that we're going to do this for all these files that we need to delete. So I'm like, let me see if I can whip something up. As Ferris would say, let me cook. So boom, 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 wrote it up. And now we have this thing that we can use over and over and over again using Python, all that good stuff. And it saves us so much time. So my third tip to you to excel as a QA engineer, not only do you always look for opportunities to write automation scripts for what you're testing, but other things as well so that you can save the whole team a lot of time. And then you can get that message, that hat tip from your software engineer saying, hey, this thing was amazing. I don't know what I would have done without it. You are the man or woman. All right. So that is my third tip of the night. All right. So hopefully you found that helpful and informative. Let me run through the rest of the chat and we can wrap it up and we can go hang out. We can go get some rest. I'm going to go eat something.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.